Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
And our next product is the DuinoCube, a retro game console you can hack. It sounds intriguing. What is your name and what is the DuinoCube?
My name is Simon Q, and DuinoCube is a game console that's based on the ones from the 20th century, so... 20th century.
20th century. Oh my God.
Super NES, Sega Genesis, and yes, I grew up playing those.
Sega.
And yeah, and Game Boy, Game Boy Color, the whole lineup. But it's built with modern technology. It's got an FPGA to do the graphics. It's got a USB system. It's got an SD card, and it's based on Arduino.
You designed this yourself?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, in fact, this was originally my senior project from college.
Oh, neat. What college?
Caltech.
All right. Now we're talking. So a couple of questions about the DuinoCube. Where do you get the ROMs? Because aren't these copyrighted ROMs?
No, this is not meant to be a system where you can just take old ROMs from other systems.
Right.
You just write new ones. So this is really targeting...
Can I go buy a ROM? Where would I don't... Oh, I see. So somebody's going to develop for it.
Yeah.
Ah.
So this is for hobbyist developers.
So I'm not playing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right.
I'm playing some other game.
Or you can make Sonic the Hedgehog. You can make a Sonic the Hedgehog DuinoCube port, you see.
I see.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the hardware. Do you have hardware sprite support, things like that?
Hardware sprite support, sprite collision. I've got 4 background layers that you can scroll independently. So I can give you a demo of that later.
Yeah, that'd be great. How about sound generation? Is that on there as well?
I've got a sound port here.
Okay.
It's really simple right now, but...
And have you created an SDK for it? How does somebody develop for it?
It's just an Arduino library. So
Okay.
I'm piggybacking on top of the Arduino system.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's why I went with Arduino, because it's so popular these days.
Right. And when you write for this Arduino, are you writing in C? What are you writing in?
Yeah, C++.
C++. Okay. Right. So that's a widely known language. Did you do any of your own libraries, or is it all Arduino, existing Arduino libraries?
Well, I had to write my own to interface with all the hardware, with the SD card and the FPGA.
Right. Can you give us a demo?
Yeah, sure. So the first demo I'm going to show you is a landscape demo. It shows the 4 different layers.
The cool thing about the Arduino is it probably has as much processor as those 20th century game consoles did,
far more, probably.
But now you can fit this in a nice little package.
Right, right.
Okay, so it should be loading the landscape demo.
So we're going to pick that up off of your Mac. Oh,
Yeah, there
look
you
at
go.
that.
Yeah,
All
so-
right.
Okay, so in that one you can see the clouds are going one way and the landscape is going the other way.
So you have 2 scroll buffers?
I have 4 different layers.
Four layers, and they
buffer,
can scroll independently.
Yeah. Now, I only have a line buffer, so it's actually drawing it 1 line at a time and scanning it out, because I don't have enough memory on here for a whole frame buffer.
Right. So, and would that in RAM, or is that in its own graphics?
It has
RAM?
internal RAM, the FPGA, but I also have external RAM to store the
game,
images.
the ROM. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much RAM?
0.5 megabyte.
Okay, that's plenty probably.
For a 2D game, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And how big a game could you write a Sonic the Hedgehog?
You could. On this one, this is the Arduino Uno.
Yeah.
It's pretty small, but you can get an Arduino Mega or a Dewey. Those are much bigger. So the size of the ROM, the size of the flash, that's the limit of how big of a game.
So what are you selling here? Are you selling these custom boards that add on to the Arduino board?
Yeah, yeah. If you look at it, this is the Arduino, and there's 2 shields. These expansion boards are called shields, and they go on top of it.
So you designed the shields?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drew them myself.
Yeah. And where's your crowdfunding project on?
It's on Kickstarter.
It's on Kickstarter. Name is?
DuinoCube.
DuinoCube.
So you can just go to my website, and I put a link there.
DuinoCube.com.
Kickstarter.
And how much is it?
For this pair of shields, it's $80. But I have another package that seems to be really more popular right now. It's got these 2 plus an Arduino Mega and a gamepad.
Now, I see Pac-Man, for instance, on your demo on Kickstarter, but you don't come with any software, just the tools to create your own games.
Yeah, so those are just examples that I wrote.
Right.
And so people can look at them and see how it's done.
So you give them the code, the source code for those?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
most
great.
of that. It's all open
Okay,
source.
so they do get that.
Good.
And who's your competition? Do you have anybody else out there that you're competing directly against?
Yeah, no one big, because this is just a small hobbyist space.
Yep.
So there's things like the Gambi, the Oozebox, they're all based on these 8-bit microcontrollers.
Is it different than an emulator?
Yes.
So tell me how it differs from an emulator.
So an emulator runs on the computer, and
it's all software.
Yeah, and it's meant to mimic the architecture of, say, a Sega or SNES.
That's why you could take an existing ROM and just load it in the emulator.
You're running a virtual
It doesn't know
machine.
it's not on an SNES.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So this is its own, because Arduino is it ARM-based? What is it?
This one is AVR-based.
AVR.
One of the bigger ones is ARM-based.
Okay. But that doesn't matter because you're going to use
all
the
C++.
You're going to write it in C++.
So I have a question. Why would I choose this over my iPad apps? I mean, I can play
It's not for you.
It wouldn't be for me,
Once
but
you
I'm
said
just
play-
trying.
Huh?
Well, but yeah, you can say it's not for me. It's not for me. So I'm asking
Right.
the question of, I can buy apps for 99 cents. Why would I want to do this?
Well, you'll get this if you want to make your own games,
Okay.
not to play them, but just for the experience. Because
hobbyists,
that's how I got
Arduino
into
hobbyists.
learning programming.
Right.
My day job is as a software engineer.
Well, clearly you want to build it, but then don't you want to play it?
Sure.
Isn't that why you're building it?
No.
Or you can show it off. And for some people, it's just the thrill of accomplishment.
Right,
you know?
making it, yeah.
And
Okay.
the learning experience. And I'm sure there's plenty of kids in high school out there, high school, college, who are going through the same thing. They got into games and then they realized they can make their own games, and that's how they learn programming.
So you were asking for $50,000, is that? Oh no,
No,
$80,000. You've got 17 days to go as we record this.
Yes.
Only 17 backers, only $1,300.
Mm-hmm.
Is it too small a market for what you're asking?
I'm not sure, but I chose the 80,000 because it was the price of this 80 times 1,000. That's
So
how
you
much
make
I need.
1,000 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be economical to make in the factory.
Right.
Okay.
And I really don't want to have, say, 100, and then have to make it for a higher price per unit.
Right. So it's really got to make this clear. This is for an Arduino hobbyist.
Yes.
He's looking for the tools that he or she can write their
Tools
own
and a platform.
and a
yes.
platform that they can write their own game software for.
A simple platform.
Right.
Without
This is not even for a gamer particularly. It's for somebody who wants to learn how to game program or wants to write game programs. Yeah.
And it's like a gateway drug. It takes you into programming, into becoming a programmer, a software
What grade did
engineer.
you get, Simon, on your
A.
on your project? Good. That's a good sign. It means
That's
it
right.
works, right?
That's right.
And you've graduated, or are you just about to graduate?
I graduated a long time ago.
Oh, this is a long time ago. All right.
Yeah, it's a revived project.
Ah, fun.
And what about output? What are the options for outputting to video?
Oh, the video? Right now it's just a VGA, so it's analog.
Okay.
But so pretty much any monitor, any computer monitor can take it.
So one project that somebody could do, for example, is you could build an old school style console, get a bunch of plywood, build a whole thing, put a screen there, and you could actually
Like an arcade machine?
Exactly. an
Yeah,
arcade
you could do
machine.
that.
You can make a meme. The real challenge for this is that for somebody to buy into this, they have to understand how, there's other people doing similar things. They have to understand how good you are, how good the software, the tools, the platform are, and that's hard to judge by looking at a Kickstarter page or watching a video. There's a certain leap of faith, isn't there, for somebody who's going to buy this?
Yeah, and I posted an early draft of the user manual. So hopefully it's
That's a
something-
good sign. There's documentation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's one thing a lot.
And you'll
a lot of
also
things don't have.
you'll also rely on reviews, because if people see credible reviewers saying that this is great or whatever, that's going to be something people can base a decision to purchase on. So has anybody reviewed this, and what are your plans for getting more reviews?
I've given press releases to a few internet sites. So I have a handful of press out there.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you're
but no
working
actual
on it.
reviews.
Okay.
We should give let's get Glenn up here and give people a chance to vote on this, because I think this one's a little maybe beyond our area of expertise.
So if you want to vote, go to strawpoll.me/1670540. And of course, you can ask questions at bit.ly/IFT questions. Jeff Needles has a question. He wants to know, why not Raspberry Pi?
Well, Raspberry Pi is a different space. If you want to work with Linux, then by all means go with Raspberry Pi. But this is meant to be bare hardware. So if you write software, it can access the hardware directly. It's two different things.
Yeah.
Now-
And when you say platform, you are in a way providing an operating system, though, for this.
Well, it depends on your definition of operating system.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to do disk access, obviously, but
Yeah, there's no.
what kind of support services do you provide?
What do you mean?
Well, for the developer, I guess if you're used to Arduino development, this would be the same. You would just have some additional hardware services available to you and additional libraries available to you? Is that what it would look like?
It's an Arduino library that goes on
Right,
top of the existing
Right.
Arduino
But I
stuff.
agree with Mike. I think because this is, you know, you have, clearly you're standing up here explaining it to us, that if you got this in the hands of some people that do reviews or are in this space, that might help elevate this product.
So
It's not a bad idea.
I have a question for you as well. That you know, you're showing us a product. So there's the product, and let's say that the product is awesome. What are you doing around the construction of a business? I guess is my question.
yeah,
are you
or do you
ready
want a
to
business?
be a business that sells these things?
I was thinking of this as a one-shot deal. So,
So you back it. You're going to make 1,000 of them. The backers will get them,
and then
and you're
And
done.
that's
job's
all?
done. Yeah.
And you have a job.
So what's your
Yes.
goal for
You work at Google,
doing
don't
this?
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's your goal for doing this then? Is it just to encourage and try to get people out there to learn how to program? And
Well, first I thought it would be a cool project to just put out there and see if anyone bites, because I went through trouble with making it, and I think it gives me some visibility as far as what I'm able to do, because right now my resume is just all software, and I like to diversify out of it.
Cool. What do you
Okay.
do at Google?
I'm a software engineer. I work on some of the internal profiling stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Nothing to write home
and they
about.
don't own this? How is that?
I got it approved.
Okay, yeah,
my
of course you
own
did.
So just for people, you certainly could go to the Kickstarter page, but I'm looking at the Kickstarter page. You could use as little as an Uno, but it will work with a Mega. And Esplora, is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Explorer is the other one that has the gamepad interface.
Got it. And Duo compatibility.
Yeah.
But that's a stretch goal. You'd have to reach how much money for that?
Is that a stretch goal?
That's
I
what it
don't
says
believe
on
it
here,
is.
yeah. Arduino Duo compatibility is a stretch goal.
Okay.
You don't even remember writing that, do you?
I spent so long making the video, I forgot.
So the problem is, of course, this is a product for a specific niche.
Yes.
Not us, but for people who want to do this kind of thing with Arduino. I have to say the fact that you have documentation is impressive, and I think if anybody were looking at this, to look at your documentation online would tell them a lot about, A, what they could do, but also your commitment to the project and to making it easy for them to do what they want to do, give them a better idea of what exactly they're getting. And I think that's a big step forward. It's hard for us to judge how well you've done because all I can see is a box and a demo, right?
I got some
Well-
more demos.
We'll do another
But,
demo.
right.
Let's
but
see another
I also
demo.
think it's interesting that he's not doing this to make money. It's to get it out there for other people
Absolutely.
to use, which
Absolutely.
it shows me that you're not doing this for money. You're doing it to build your resume, to share some knowledge that
Right.
you've already put time
Yeah,
and
what are you, a
commitment
communist?
into.
What's the deal?
So no, I like that.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it's great.
but so to me, it's a very honest thing to do, and he just wants to share what he's done and hopefully give other people that platform.
I love that.
To learn to become
Yeah,
a programmer.
I agree.
I think that's a really neat.
Let's see another
part of
demo.
this.
I want to see more
All
of
right.
what this can
So
do.
this other one is a side scroller. Let me pull that up.
And how long did it take you to write these games? I mean, how easy is it? Does this make it? Wow, look at that.
Yeah, see?
That's great. Did you do your own graphics?
I pulled the graphics off of a clip art site.
Okay.
And
That character is a sprite?
yeah, so as you can see from the video.
Keep showing the video because we want to see this, yeah. You don't have to play it. You can answer the question, but I just want to look at it, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see the background. There's it's moving at a slower rate. So there's
parallax.
several different
Yep.
parallax scrolling, exactly. There's several different layers that are being scrolled.
How many sprites can I get on the screen at once?
There's 256. So
Wow.
there's another demo that will show you all the sprites.
That's a lot of
Now you pull
sprites.
that
That's
up.
That one,
awesome.
yeah.
And those are all hardware? That's hardware supported sprites or software?
Yeah,
supported?
that's all in
Holy,
hardware.
look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you
It's
can build your own
incredible.
screensaver.
I'd fund that right there. You did it. I wanted to see. That's pretty impressive. I remember programming Ataris where you had, I don't know, I can't remember, 8 sprites.
Yeah.
And collision detection and
Because
maybe
we're
colors.
old.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is roughly the same generation. Would you say that's about a 6502 capability, something like that? How big of a processor is in that? Is it 8-bit?
It's an 8-bit. It's 16 megahertz.
Well, it's pretty fast. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot faster.
Yeah, it's
than
faster than an SNES.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so like I said, it's built with modern technology.
All right, I am gonna give you my vote. It's a little bit of a leap of faith, but given your background at Caltech, where you work today, the demos that you've shown, the capabilities that obviously impressive capabilities that hardware has, plus the documentation, I'd say I'd fund that.
All right.
But
And
you did more than just go to Caltech, right? Didn't
Yeah,
you go somewhere else?
I worked at some other companies and I got a master's from Stanford.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got
wow.
a master's from
I'm
Stanford
impressed.
too. So.
All right. Player missile graphics. That's right. It wasn't sprites on the Atari. It was player missile graphics.
What's that?
All right, Lisa, what's your judgment here?
Well, I almost recused myself because I'm like, okay, this is way out of my league, and it's not something I really know about. But what I like is that he's giving this to people for an educational. Like he just wants to give back and build his resume on this. So I think I'd fund that. I mean, it's not a lot of money, and it's really a give back, and he doesn't even want to grow a business off of it. So I think that's an interesting concept for
You'd
him.
have to be a person who wanted to do this software.
But to me, I think
So
this
we're
is like
putting ourselves in those shoes, but based on that, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, I'd fund that because to me, it's giving back to people that hopefully it'll get them interested in programming and.
The 256 sprites sold me.
Well,
Yeah,
okay, so
I think that's interesting.
So you're saying you're basing your recommendation or your judgment on the quality, the apparent quality and impressiveness of the project itself. You're basing it and weighing it toward the idea that this is a great effort that's being put out there for the betterment of mankind, that people can learn things, and it's not done for to make a ton of money, and that's a virtuous thing to do.
Right, because he's not planning on making this his business goal. He's not moving forward with this past this. So
exactly. So So here's the problem I have with it. You have a platform here. So you're throwing this out there, and you're doing it up front, but you're basically saying this is a one-shot deal. And I think for people to get embedded in this and to get behind it, a lot of what you're backing when you back a crowdfunded project is you want a company to get off the ground, especially if they're a platform company. You want to initiate a platform that will have a future. And so this is the problem I have with this, is that you're basically asking people to do something that's like Lego Mindstorms, but we're just going to do one.
I don't think it's always that. I think there are Kickstarter projects where somebody's doing one film, or they're doing a comic book, or they're doing,
but films
a toy.
and comic books aren't platforms, and so if you're going to take the time to learn how to do this,
when he's saying it's a platform, it's not a platform that you would then go on and develop more stuff for.
But isn't
it's
that what
to
people
learn
would
how
want?
to be? No, I think this is a hobbyist thing. It's something you'd want to learn how to write a video game. And by the way, these are not techniques that are currently used in video games, these hardware sprites and things like this. But what you would learn is the fundamentals of programming, kind of in the past century.
Yeah.
Actually, though, that's a good question, Simon. Why would anybody want to learn that?
Because it takes you back to the basics. Think about it. If you have a 2D system, it's really easy to think about. If you have 3D, you got to deal with 3D space, transformations, models, textures.
So this is a starter for somebody who wants to go on, perhaps.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it's for any Arduino hobbyist who wants to write games.
And just look at
that's why it's not a platform that you're going to say somebody's going to make this and productize it. I don't think you intend this is ever going to have a productized component.
And,
Yeah,
see,
but-
and this is the problem that I have with it. It's that it's not going to do that. I think that I don't see, it's not a product, it's not a company. It's a project you have that you want to do for your reasons, and it's going to help some people. It's obviously some people would go in there and enjoy making games and stuff like that. But like I feel like there's so much more potential here. You could create an educational product that would be sold to schools indefinitely in the future to teach students, high school students, junior high school students, how to do game development in some fundamental way. I think there's so much potential here that you're not pursuing and you have no intention to pursue. And so I'm going to say that go fund yourself, because I want people, dollars are limited. People have only a limited number of things to back. People want to back something with a future, and this doesn't have a future by design. And so I'm going to say
But
go fund yourself.
$25. How much? How many dollars?
that's
do you
okay.
need?
That's
it's
his
less than the
opinion.
Spritzer phone case.
But we didn't
I
fund
know,
that
but
either.
but this is one of many options for learning how to do game development. One of many.
Right.
And if people are going to fund something, they want to be involved in it. If it's a platform, they want to get into it. And this is not a platform that they can get into. It's not something that's going to have a future. And I think that for a lot of game developers, there are going to be better options out there. So I'm going to say go fund yourself.
Would it make any difference if he said he'd open source it?
It might.
All my
It
code
might.
is on GitHub.
It's all
And I
open
plan to
source,
publish
Mike.
the schematics.
Yeah.
You're going to publish the schematics?
I plan to do it
You don't
afterwards.
have
Well,
to
let's-
change his
regardless,
mind. He
find
just said
I am on a mission to change his
No.
mind.
It's a
it's
pseudo-democracy, Leo.
you cannot like tell another judge on here,
Sure
you're
I can.
wrong. I mean, you can, but
I absolutely can.
doesn't
but
mean my opinion's going to change
Mike
either.
says we should let the
Yeah, let's
tie-breaking
hear-
vote come
let's
from
hear
the
what the-
people.
Actually, and this one wins because this has two.
That's right.
This
Well,
counts
this
for two.
would decide it.
Okay, so this is interesting, and this perhaps is demonstrative of how people in the chat are saying open the poll right away. This is why we don't open the polls
Because
until
if you
this has
saw
gone
this,
a bit.
you might not know what this was until you really heard Simon explain it.
Agreed.
Let me tell you, this started as a strong go fund yourself. However, now 53% go fund yourself to 47% I'd fund that, and I'd fund that has been raising the longer this has gone on.
Yeah,
the more
but it
you've
doesn't
dove
matter.
into it.
That
We
just
don't-
won.
Well, but
These
we
polls
don't.
will remain open.
But we don't let people vote twice.
Wait.
So if you voted prematurely and you voted wrong, and I saw at least one or two people in the chat room who said, boy, now that I know what this is, I
well,
like
that's why
it.
we went down that road to figure out what was happening.
Yeah.
So where's the votes land right now? I'll be the
Right now,
bad
it's
judge. It says we're ending it.
it's 53, 52%. It keeps going 52% to 48. Go fund yourself.
Any questions for Simon?
Well, people are having questions. They're talking about it in the chat, and it's interesting as you're discussing. People are saying this would be great for schools, great opportunities there. I think what it's really coming down to is that people are, much as you guys are exploring it with Simon, seeing more of the potential. There is one specific question that Derek Murray wants to know, can this run on batteries? And if so, what's the power drain?
One of my stretch goal ideas was to have a battery adapter. So right now it's running off of USB, but you could have another shield on top that has batteries.
Cool.
And people have done something like that before, just as a standalone shield.
Yeah. I mean, I think really the value of this is if somebody wants to learn about game programming, if you're a high schooler or I guess even a college kid or an adult, and you want to learn about game programming from the beginning, from the roots, from the basics, from 2D scrollers, to understand how collision works, how sprites work, how you can create parallax. You don't have to be an artist. You use clip art, which I think is incredible. But what you're learning is how this works, and I think that it's an interesting point that it is the first step towards learning how to do modern programming.
And I don't understand why I can never get you to do sales. You're so good at it. But it's
Yeah, go fund your company, Leo.
The point is really that this isn't a company, and what I really hope is that you find the audience, because I think that there are probably 1,000 people. You need 1,000, right? That's all.
Yeah.
I think there are 1,000 people who would be thrilled to have this, who understand what it does, and they'd like to play with it. But you've got to find that audience. I hope that we've helped you maybe get the word out a little bit. How's the poll doing? I'm just trying to give you time here, Glenn.
One vote. No, wait, it's tied.
It's tied, ladies and gentlemen.
50-50. It's wavering
no,
back
it's
and
not.
forth.
Go fund yourself just went up.
Yeah.
It's 59 to 58.
It is tough.
We'll see. These polls will remain open in perpetuity.
So,
No.
but wait. So
Wow,
going forward for
look
future
how
shows, we
close
can't do
that
that.
is.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a straw poll
Polls never
limitation,
come.
not a.
I know that, but we can't end a show with somebody winning or losing and then change it after the show is over.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to figure something out.
I think Simon's a winner no matter what you guys say. It's a tie, ladies and
It's a
gentlemen.
tie.
It is exactly a tie.
No, it's actually.
You know
yeah,
what?
it's
No,
kinda,
he's a winner. You know why? Because people are seeing this, and you
He's a
watch.
winner because Leo Laporte
in
actually
seven-
stood on
in
his soapbox
seven-
for
in
25 minutes
17
and said, "You guys
in
have to agree with
17
me."
days,
So
he's going to get another 1,000 people to pledge $25 and or whatever it is that you need to get to
80.
80
Yeah.
bucks. Well, it's a little expensive, but
Yeah.
if
All right, I think we're done.
Okay.
half those votes are wrong.
But what's our
I'm not going
conclusion?
to tell you which half.
Up,
though.
up.
And
We
now
have
it's
51%
pulling ahead.
I'd fund
it's
that.
pulling ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to pull whatever rank I have at this table
I'm fine
and
with
say
that.
that's it. The people have spoken. 51%. We're going to fund that. You get the badge.
It was
There
this
you go.
close.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And it
Simon.
took Leo going, okay, for all my people in my chat
pushing.
room, you need to change
I'm
your vote.
pushing for the programmers, for the young kid out there who says, I want to write a side scroller. I just need the hardware to do it.
I'm
I need the
telling you,
software.
I can
need
make
the
money
platform.
on him.
Yeah.
I could totally make money on
Put him
him.
on the road. All
I need to.
right.
Let's go.
Well, congratulations to you. It's an awesome
Thanks.
product. And
Congratulations.
Well done, Simon.
And-
I'm actually very impressed.
Also,
by what he did.
congratulations on the A.
And congratulations on getting Google to approve you doing your own thing.
That's
I thought
really
when you
nice.
work for
Yeah.
Google, they own you. So it's
Yeah.
nice to see that they
Is
don't.
this
There's
a-
a way out. There's loopholes.
Is this a 20%
smart.
or a sabbatical project,
Like it.
or you just?
This is a side project,
just
nights and
great.
weekends.
That's awesome.
30
Really
hours a
nice.
week.
30 hours a week on this. That's
Okay.
a labor of love, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that's a
And
wrap.
Congratulations,
on that, right?
Simon.
Another win for Caltech. MIT can suck it, right?
There you go.
MIT sucks.
Focus on
Love
important
it.
things.
That's
in
what's
life.
Actually,
really
they're
counts.
both good. Come on,
All right.
guys.
All right. All right. Well,
Put on
thank
the
you.
hat.
I like how you said MIT can suck.
What's my
That's pretty
name?
funny.
Well done.